One of the most dramatic pictures I've ever managed to capture was of this car transporter fire that I saw on the way home one evening. I spotted some smoke coming from the car transporter and pulled over in front of it on the hard shoulder to see if I could help. I got a small fire extinguisher in the car with me and initially thought I may be able to give some assistance. Once we got to the vehicle, it was obvious that a small fire extinguisher just wasn't going to do a lot to be able to control the fire. The highway staff had called the fire brigade, and they suggested then moving to a safe distance and waiting for them to arrive. Around 5 minutes later, the police arrived and closed the motorway, so I then got free rein to be able to take photos from any position. The car transporter was carrying a mix of 6 different Subaru vehicles. I generally try to make sure that I've got a camera in the car with me, and today was one better, that I've got my Ford kit bag with all my lenses in, so I had everything with me that I needed to get some pictures. From when I first arrived, it took just over 10 minutes for the fire brigade to arrive. Luckily, it was very close to a motorway junction, so they were able to access it relatively easily. 2 pumps arrived and started putting on their breathing equipment and setting up the hoses to be able to tackle the fire. As well as stills, I also managed to grab some HD video, which was the first time I'd used the Canon 5D Mark II with that capability. The problem I had after the event was actually editing the video. The files were so huge, the computer at the time wasn't able to cope with them. Fortunately, nobody was injured in the fire, but the fire brigade were unable to save the vehicles. Speaking to the car transporter driver, he seemed to think the turbo had blown on his engine, which is what caused the fire to start in the first place. I was lucky I'd parked the correct side of the lorry, so as soon as I'd finished taking photos and got all the video I needed, I was able to drive away, despite the rest of the motorway being closed. I then had a very clear journey home and was the only car on the motorway.